Hello guys, in this video we are going to study about basal electric rhythm. It is a topic from GIT physiology. So basically in examination, generally it is asked what is the frequency of the following organs like stomach, duodenum, ileum, cecum. They will ask that what is the basal electric rhythm frequency or frequency of slow waves in the following organs, stomach, duodenum, ileum, cecum, right? But before we know that, just the memorizing part, let us understand what actually basal electric rhythm is. I will try to make it as short as possible because generally they will not ask this particular thing in examination, right? For example, the RMP in any normal cell, RMP in any normal cell is actually a single straight line, right? Like for example, minus 75 millivolt or minus 90 millivolt, right? RMP is a single straight line, it is a constant thing. But RMP, the resting membrane potential in the GI smooth muscles, is actually not a constant line. It is a waveform, right? It is a waveform. So the RMP actually fluctuates between a voltage and another voltage, right? So this is a slow wave. This particular wave is called slow wave. And let me tell you that this is not action potential. Very important. This is not action potential, right? What are action potentials? See, for example, I lift the RMP of a normal cell. If the RMP goes to the threshold potential, then what will happen? An action potential will occur. Just like in here in this case, if the RMP actually touches the threshold potential, for example, this red wave moves upward like this, then an action potential will occur. So these waves are not action potentials, right? Don't confuse them with action potentials. Okay, so this is the thing that I wanted you to understand. Now another important thing, that these are slow waves, right? These are slow waves. And for example, here is the threshold potential. Threshold potential is that potential where if the RMP touches, it will generate an action potential. It holds true for all types of cells, these normal cells also and smooth muscles also, which has slow waves or wavy pattern of RMP, right? So what actually happens, that these slow waves actually never increase in amplitude. Very important. Slow waves never increase in amplitude. Extremely important. This is actually core physiology that I think that you should know, because INICET can actually ask these type of questions, deep questions. INICET can ask. NEET is not going to ask these conceptual questions. So what happens, that these amplitude of the slow waves, amplitude of slow waves is constant. Amplitude of slow waves is constant and it never changes. Extremely important. Okay, so amplitude of slow waves doesn't change. So how can we generate an action potential if the amplitude doesn't increase? So there is a gap, right? Here this is a gap. So if the slow waves action potential is not going to increase, then how will it reach the threshold potential? The trick is that slow waves actually never increase their amplitude, but threshold potential come down, right? Threshold potential come down. If the threshold potential will come down, then automatically here in this point you can see it has reached the threshold potential, so an action potential will take place. Means that the GI smooth muscle will contract, and GI smooth muscle will contract, which means that peristalsis will occur, right? So just like here the threshold potential decreased, similar thing can also happen in the vice versa form. Threshold potential can increase, right? Threshold potential can increase also. So what will happen if threshold potential increases? If threshold potential increases, the chances of contraction or chances of action potential will actually decrease, right? There will be no contraction. So if the threshold potential increase, no contraction, and if the threshold potential decrease, more contraction, right? I should write it like this, not no contraction. I should write it less chance of contraction and more chance of contraction, right? So this is the way the resting membrane potential or slow waves of actually GIT work, right? So this is everything that you need to know. Lastly, what are the frequencies? Extremely easy. For stomach it is 4, duodenum it is 12, for ileum it is 8 to 9, and cecum it is 6. So this is the thing you actually have to remember. This is the main thing that is actually going to ask for your examination. They will not ask the concept, but INICET can ask this particular thing once upon a while. Not very important. Thank you.